I don't know about you, but I certainly needed this new David Byrne record. Who is the Sky is the latest offering from Talking Heads frontman David Byrne in collaboration with producer Kid Harpoon and the Ghost Train Orchestra. And it is a record that spills over with irrepressible joy and lust for life. Throughout 12 fairly concise tracks, we follow Byrne as he takes satisfaction in everyday curiosities and prods at wild scenarios of his own imagination for deeper meaning. And all of this is done in his signature oddball vocal style, which goes from yelps and speak singing to towering belts to wordless vocalizations that are a highlight of the tracks on which they appear. And all of this is done over lush arrangements from Brian Carpenter's Ghost Train Orchestra, who cultivate this kaleidoscopic palette that adds bright swaths of color, especially in the use of pillowy horns and gorgeous strings. The whole thing has this feel of being at a huge garden party, singing and dancing long into the night in the safe hands of Byrne and his collaborators. Meanwhile, the lyrics on Who is the Sky get riotously imaginative. Byrne conjures up a retired Buddha on I Met the Buddha at a Downtown Party, who teaches him a valuable, albeit counterintuitive, life lesson. And on Moisturizing Thing, he conjures up a preposterous scenario in which an anti-aging cream turns him into a literal baby face and imagines the hurdles he might come across in being a literal babyface. Roll back in the runtime a bit to the danceable My Apartment Is My Friend, which feels distinctly post-COVID in its homage being paid to Byrne's apartment. Or on the more pared back A Door Call No, where we get another imagined scenario, but which here feels more like a metaphor than a story. What comes is a meditation on the abrupt shift in perspective that comes with falling in love. Byrne's joy at this sounds barely containable within the physical confines of his body. And it's this uncomplicated feeling of adoration that infects this album as a whole, and I would say infects me as a listener also. Don't Be Like That, with its unadorned lyrics and countrified strings, is vulnerable and bashful, while the Hayley Williams duet What Is the Reason For It, with its Latin feel and melody that gives a little bit of Dean Martin's sway, is a rather innocent, almost childlike exploration of a feeling of love that seems to paralyze and bewilder. That said, the loveliest song on here for me is She Explains Things to Me. David Byrne himself has said that this one is about his experiences with autism, but it's hard not to look past the clear-eyed adoration that he has for his partner as she patiently and willingly explains things like movie characters and poetry to him. And really, that love that spills over in simple everyday moments is what powers Byrne on this album. It certainly feels to me like Byrne was compelled to write these largely silly but almost entirely love-struck songs by this feeling of love, not only for his partner, but for music and for the world at large. And as the world seems to get a bit darker, both on a seasonal level and also on a geopolitical one, Who is the Sky may well be a record that I find myself returning to regularly to keep my spirits up.
What is the reason for it? What is the reason for it?